Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. Can you hear me? How do I sound?
Why aren't you working? Oh, I can hear you better.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Do I sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So was it hard to join that?
No, just click.
That apparently that's like their new little thing. I think. Uh, would do you care what we use?
Nah, as long as
Oh,
it works. So Streamlabs has something where you don't have to use Discord to talk.
yeah. It's called collab or something. Collab something.
Oh, okay. Does it cost?
No, you can have, but you can have one person. It doesn't cost, but anything more than that, it costs like $30 a month. I don't know.
Okay.
So it's good for like one-on-one shows.
Yeah.
Because I think you can only have a max of 4, so it's kind of useless if you're not having a lot of people. If you're
Got you.
having
And
a
you
lot of
said it's
people.
called Streamlabs Collab.
Yeah. What's going on, Chad? I'm sure you've seen Twitter. I'm sure you know what's the deal today. Jesus Christ, Dirt! There is an absurd amount of info that has came out in a matter of 24 hours.
It's crazy, man.
Dirt, what are we gonna do, Dirt?
I
The
didn't know. We just talk about it, bro.
the
Yeah.
the PlayStation people are running wild today. They're running wild today.
Nah, them bastards run around wild any day. It doesn't matter.
See, I have a bulletproof vest on, so I'm good. I'm good. They ain't getting me. They ain't getting me.
Now it's funny. I can see you on the YouTube, but I can't see you here. That's kind of weird.
Oh, so you can't see me at all?
I can see you on the YouTube channel, but not here. Yeah, it's just like a blank screen here. But like, you see me?
Yeah, I see you.
Okay, I don't know why I don't see
Well,
you.
I'll figure it out.
Unless no,
Is that gonna bother you?
no, it's cool. I'm looking
I
at the YouTube stream too. So
okay. I'll figure out. Exactly how to work on that. This is all new to me. I gotta figure it out. Well, what's going on, you guys? Static Show. We talk about the past, present, future gaming. We had a little bit of a break, man. We were gone for like what, a month, a little probably monthish.
yeah, yeah, about a month.
It's been one hell of a month, and the past 24 hours there's been a lot going on. So, first off, the screen is a little inaccurate because there's some stuff that's happened since I updated this thing. Xbox layoffs. Now it is 343 crazy. That's what I'm gonna name it. 343 crazy. All right, so we're going to get going to this, man. We're going to go into this. Let's first off, what you've been playing, man, because at the end of the day, we got to come back to what we've been playing. That's the most important thing that's going on. What you've been playing?
Well, since the break, I don't know if I said it before, but I finished Callisto Protocol.
How'd you like that game?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. It's unfortunate that the game, I guess, flopped. So I'm not sure if we'll get a sequel, but I liked it. I thought it was pretty damn good. Been playing that. I just started playing Gotham Knights recently. Picked that back up. It's not bad. It's not bad. So I don't know. There's a few games I'm trying to play that's in my backlog. Before Dead Space comes out, which I'm really into. So that's about it, man. I started playing Halo again. I started playing some multiplayer again. Listen. I don't know. We're gonna talk about what happened with Joe Stanton and everything, but the gameplay is still solid in Halo Infinite. We just got to see what's going on with the campaign and everything else, brother. So we'll talk about it, I guess.
Yeah. Shout out to Flame with the $2 super chat. It's good to see you both back, gentlemen. Rest in peace, 343. We're gonna talk about it, man. We're gonna talk about it. I will save that for a little bit later part of the show. But we will get to that, man. We will get to that. First thing I do want to talk about, first off, I've been playing Echo Generations.
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing a lot of that. I like that game. Actually, the lordsofgaming.net, I was able to secure us a little exclusive interview with the creator. That was made by one person.
Echo Generation 1?
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
I always like like stories like that where the person that is making it has like a good outcome. You know, one person making it had all the success. You know, and then and the questions that what happened to it. He even said, you know, I really inspired to make something like Chrono Trigger, and it's an honor to be considered in the same sentence as Chrono Trigger. So it's cool. Gamers making games. That's what I like to call it. Gamers making games.
Yeah.
But you know, developers are gamers too. There's no way around that. Everyone that really develops, some way, shape, or form is a gamer. But I think there's something unique and special about a small time person making a game and it being successful. I don't know why.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so let's start with this developer direct because I think that's a prominent topic. I think there's a lot of stuff going on about that. You know, for the Mafia Police, I'm gonna set that up for 8:30, 8 minutes and 30 seconds. So we're gonna go ahead and get that. So first off, it's interesting that they named this Developers Direct. I'm sure you've talked about it a lot on your podcast. I'm not saying that that's a bad name, but it's interesting that they decided to use Chained Echo. That's what the game is. Chained Echo. My bad. That's the game. It's called Chained Echo.
So it's not Echo Generator?
No, it's called Chained Echo.
Okay.
I don't know why I call it Echo Generation. That's a completely different other game. That game's good too.
Yeah. I actually played Echo Generations. I never played Chained Echo.
Yeah, Chained Echoes, I would say, Echo Generations was such a good game. But anyway, so it's interesting that they use the word direct in this. Like, I'm very interested in that because I feel like out of all the stuff they could use, they chose something that is in the similar vein to, the State of Play, Nintendo Direct. They chose that direct word for a reasoning. And what I want to ask you about this direct thing is I want to ask you, do you think that they're going to go in that kind of vein where it's going to be hit with, maybe developers talking over it? Or do you think it's going to be maybe a hybrid between something like, Inside Xbox and a State of Play?
Well, I think it will be more like State of Play or Nintendo Direct. I think, just like because they announced it and said there will be no hosts or anything like that. I actually wouldn't mind a developer talking over the gameplay. That would be fine. If they want to say certain things, that's fine. Like I said, I prefer that because we know how in the past Inside Xbox they actually had that show when they really didn't have much content. So that show was just 2 hours and boring. But this is going to be 45 minutes. I always like the way the Nintendo Directs and the State of Plays were, just really quick, not a lot of talking, just showing the gameplay and moving to the next game, and then the show's over with. I like that. So if that's what they're going to do, I think that's good, and I'm all for it.
My thing is, I really want to make sure that they know that, like, look, we don't mind the personalities, the influencers talking. I think the disconnect is who they choose. I feel like for the most part, besides like Ricari, like they've always been a hit and miss with me. They didn't seem like they were there for the games. They seemed like they were there for a paycheck that happened to them to do it. There's no passion there. And there's a lot of the influencing people. And then not to mention, I do feel like there's an issue when you have PR making these events. Because I feel like PR is going to try to PR. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I feel like influencers and stuff should be making these events. Like, when these people do these type of events, they need to be reaching out to influencers that's in that direct community to be hosting these events because there's a little bit of a connection right there. We don't work for Microsoft. They gave us this information. We absorbed it. And then after a couple of days of absorbing it, now we're presenting it to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I feel like it feels like a giant marketing ad. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to how Inside Xbox did, it's just like you're talking about the stuff no one cares about.
Yeah.
And then you're not talking about the stuff people do care about.
Yeah, I agree. And that's what Inside Xbox was. They talked about a lot of stuff. Like you said, no one cared about. out of all of the inside Xboxes, I would say maybe one was okay, and I remember that one because they announced a lot of backwards compatible games. But if this is just going to focus on games that's coming in the future, in the short term, I love it. I love it. And if they're going to really focus on, they have a dedicated show based on some of the first party games like Starfield or whatever else in the future, I love that also because I did like when Sony did a show based on, Last of Us 2 or Ghost of Tsushima or even GT7, that crap. But I did like for them, like when they did that. So I think it'll be good. That will let us know that Xbox has a lot more content on the way. In the past, Xbox didn't have a lot of content; they really couldn't do stuff like this. But now they can, and I think that's a plus to see them like having a smaller show to show some upcoming games with some release dates, hopefully.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, this is okay. Let me ask you a question that I'm curious of your response. We haven't really talked too much. We've been DMing a little bit back and forth. But my question to you is, like, how would you want them to do information throughout the year? Like, you got the E3 stuff, EXO they used to do. Let's say that Phil Spencer popped in there right now and he pulled that green screen back and he's like, "Dirt, how do you want me to do these E3s, these shows throughout the year?" What would your response be?
My response would be, I like the Xbox Developer Direct idea. I like that to maybe give some release dates, like not just the first party games of like maybe some games going directly into Game Pass if they can, some third party games or some indie games. I would like for them to have like a big game like Starfield or Redfall or Forza to have their own little small personal show before the game releases. I still want the E3 to be the show where they announce new stuff, unannounced games, games in the future. I still want that. And if they're going to have, show around, Gamescom, that doesn't have to be an E3 type of show, but just, just a show to, show some things that's still yet to come throughout the year, things like that. So I would say about three smaller shows like Developers Direct throughout the year, as well as E3, Gamescom, Tokyo Game Show. Because last year's Tokyo Game Show, I actually thought that was a pretty good show. They showed a lot of Japanese stuff coming from to Xbox, and I thought that was a pretty good show. So yeah, that's what I would like about three of these smaller shows. Whatever, like two or three shows focus on one game, and the big shows like E3 for the future stuff.
I think the thing I would want them to do, now there's a couple ways they can do it. First thing I would want them to do is do the show, this direct thing to fill out games. Don't show too much gameplay in these shows because I want that time to be used to announce other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, use these developer directs like a month before, kind of like Nintendo Directs and State of Play, where they dedicate a whole one of these to a game with a little bit of smaller announcements. Throw your Game Pass. How they just come out randomly and they're like, "These are the games coming in Game Pass."
Right.
Like maybe every 3 months you have one of these developer directs, and it tells you all the Game Pass games that you're going to get for the next 3 months, and it tells you, games that's coming out in the 3 months, and they show you deep dives on stuff like Starfield, et cetera, and then you get to E3. And what I want from E3 is I want that to be the next 12 months, that they keep the 12-month thing, where they show, look,
so
this
you
is
want the
what's
12-month thing.
Yeah, this is what's coming out now. This is what's coming out the beginning of next year, and this is what's coming out at the end of this year. And then once you get to the 3 or 4 months later, you're about November-ish. Then instead of putting that stuff on the video game awards, they do an XO. And the XO is like, we've showed you independent games. We showed you why you should be into an Xbox ecosystem, and these directs. We showed you what the next 12 months, the immediate future is that you're going to get from at E3. XO is going to be what's beyond that year. These is the roadmap. This is the updated roadmap. This is what's going on. These are the games that we're going to be playing in the future.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's all about the future, but the only thing that I would say maybe I would disagree with, in my opinion, is the 12-month thing. At least do 18 months because, well, I think Xbox roadmap, I believe they had to announce those games, right? They had to announce Fable, Perfect Dark, because even though those games were too far out, are really far out, Xbox had to announce something, because if they didn't announce those games, they wouldn't have nothing to announce in those shows the last couple of years. So they had to announce those games. But the 12-month thing was okay, but it also seems to me like maybe it should be 18 months. No, within the next 18 months, because if you do like June to June, that's obviously 12 months. We do June to next holiday season of the following year. I think that makes a little bit more sense to me, but I understand where you're coming from.
Sorry, just keep talking.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so like I said, I think it's a good thing that we're able to have these shows now, because that means Xbox has content on the way. They they weren't always in a position where they could do these types of shows. Like we mentioned Inside Xbox, and for the most part, people felt Inside Xbox was trash because they didn't show anything new. They talked about a lot of stuff and a lot of stuff that we didn't care about.
And I think the issue with that isn't necessarily the fact that we don't see anything new. It's the fact that we have so many games in the works, so many games in the tuck, so many games that's like, look, we don't want to see 12 months because you've announced all these games. We want to see these games too. And that's why I feel like the XO would be a good thing, because it's like, look, this is the XO is going to be focused on roadmap. This is what we're aiming for. I feel like they need to be very more transparent on what stuff's going on. That's where they would announce delays and stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, imagine a Marvel map for every phase. That's what I want this event to be, where it's mainly focused on just telling us stuff that we expect to see, telling us stuff that is down the pipeline. Let's say that Gears is ready to talk about their game. They throw that on the map. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think a developer going up there, briefly talking about stuff that's going on, briefly talking about what they want to do with this game. Fable, we want to be an Albion. We want to be kind of a reboot of the franchise. Stuff like that is what I want to see.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Because that kind of stuff is important, because we really do want to know more about the games that's like in the works. I can say it. In the works. So what's up, Beer Baron? What's up, everybody in the chat? What's up, y'all?
Yeah, so that's all I'm saying. Like, and I get it. I think 18 months is fine, but I think the 12-month thing would work if they just keep up with it for a couple years. Because now, we want to see gratitude gameplay on stuff that we're talking about. And I do think to a point people get upset with there being an hour and like, what's what I'm looking for? Like 5 years between us and Fable. Us and Avowed. And I think, sure, you wouldn't know some of the roadmap in certain games, but I think it would set expectations to where, look, this is EXO, this is dedicated to the future. Games that are at this event, don't expect to see for a couple years. And I think that would work well. Now, obviously, people, they want to know stuff, so maybe they just need more shows overall. It's just going to be interesting to see how this developer direct goes in with everything else. I'm very interested to see that.
Well, I will say this. I don't know if you heard recently that Neil Druckmann was saying The Last of Us 2 and Uncharted 4, they announced those games too early because it put a lot of pressure on the team. I understand where he was coming from, because he was pretty much saying that because we announced them so early, people know about it. So people, they always, man, when is Last of Us 2 coming out? When is Uncharted 4 coming out? Putting pressure on the team to, work faster. So Neil Druckmann said he's not going to do that anymore, announce a game that far out. Like I mentioned, Xbox had to announce those games in 2020. They had to announce State of Decay 3, Fable. They had to announce Perfect Dark, Contraband, those games, because they didn't have any other games. So they had to announce those games. But I see what you're saying. If they do the 12-month thing, boom.
And they have to stick with it, though. They have to
stick with it. And I would like for them to let us know ahead of time, because last year they told us the at the show, yeah, we're doing 12 months. So it was like, damn, but I do see what you're saying, because if this year they will show maybe Hellblade 2 and the Vow, stuff like that, stuff that's within the next 12 months, that would make a lot of sense. So I do see what you're saying, but I don't know, man. I think the only thing with that, there will still be that desire to know what else is coming 2 or 3 years down the line. So it's a tough situation.
We might actually just see people just straight up, okay, here's the next 12 months, and we're just going to give you these developer directs to heighten these games, show you what they're playing like. We might not ever get another roadmap like we used to. And part of me is disappointed in that, but the other part of me is like, I am tired of talking about the same games for years. I am tired about where's Fable, where's Avowed. I am low-key tired of these studios and publishers revealing games that they act like it's a year or two away, but in all sense, it's next generation or the end of the generation.
Yeah.
So it's a give and take. I do think it's a give and take.
Yeah.
But we're going to move on with that, man. I don't know if you saw, we got something called Scalebound.
Ah, man.
So, do you know anything about what's going on with Scalebound right now?
Not really. I'm hearing rumors. What's going on? What have you heard?
Yeah, so shout out to Nick over there at Xbox Era. He heard that they're in the early talks of rebooting, not rebooting, but refinishing Scalebound. And all right, so I've heard rumors about this before.
Really?
Yes, but every time I hear something about Scalebound, I roll my eyes and like, just let this damn game die.
That's where I'm at. Yeah.
It's just like, at this point, just look, it's not coming back. It's not coming back. But it is what it is. I get it. Here's my thing. Do I think this is true? No. I don't find a good world where Scalebound comes out. Do I think it's possible? Yes. Because I do feel like Microsoft is done with the publisher thing. I think they know they can't keep getting away with that. You know what I'm saying? I think after this Activision thing, they're going to buy smaller studios. And I feel like it would be dumb to think that Platinum Games isn't part of that. They're a very competent studio. A lot of people love their games. So that would be a studio that I would definitely think that is a possibility that Microsoft is looking at them to acquire. But my question to you, Dart, is what conditions would you say would have to happen before Scalebound would officially get a green light to come back? We got a $5 super chat from the Angry Therapist MD. Let it die. Dead. Yeah, okay. So what? Which one?
Listen, man. If for Microsoft to do a Scalebound, Platinum Games, they have to have a contract with Platinum Games. Look, if you guys don't finish this game within, 2 years, there's going to be some consequences. I don't know. It's a breach of contract. I don't know. They need something written on paper, because we all heard the rumors about what happened before with Scalebound, and Platinum Games just didn't do what they were supposed to do with that game. We heard that, like the game was playing terrible, and a year later the game was in the same state. So it was like, no, man. This is how I feel about Scalebound, though, Addict. Let me tell you. I said this on WBG a couple nights ago. Scalebound, the cancellation of Scalebound happened right when I first started my YouTube channel. It was literally my second video on my channel.
I have a video about Scalebound too.
Okay. It was my second. I had 22 subscribers. It was my second video on my channel.
And you had 22 people saying that they were so looking forward to Scalebound, didn't you?
Oh my God! This is what happened. They was like, yeah, Dirt, we want Scalebound. That was the only game I was going to buy an Xbox for. Yes, I was going to buy an Xbox for Scalebound. Oh, they messed up.
And then they're like, Did you play Bayonetta? No. Did you play anything else made? No. Like,
nothing. I was going to buy your Xbox One for Scalebound. They are so terrible. So Scalebound, to me, I'm like kind of like what the angry therapist MD said. Let it die. Now I won't lie. If this is true, I will start capping immediately. All right, I will start capping. Say, yo, Xbox got Scalebound coming. Yeah, let's go. So I would definitely start capping. But in reality, I just want the game to just die. Just die. Um, I was interested in the game. I thought it looked cool. The concept seemed pretty cool, but for this game to really come back, it has to be Platinum Games focus. They can't be doing several games at one time. The studio needs to focus on Scalebound if this is true. And if I was Microsoft, I would make sure of that. Like, damn it, you guys are going to do this game and do it right. That's all I'm going to say about Scalebound, Addict.
I think the only way that this happens, the only way that this game gets gets made, is if Microsoft approached Platinum Games and they were very serious, and Platinum Games used that to leverage to get the game greenlit. Like, look, we understand what we did was wrong. We understand maybe our priorities wasn't 100% straight. If we sign on to you and let you buy our company, we want to make that right. And we would appreciate if you let us finish that game.
Now, if Xbox bought them, all bets off. You know, that's a good thing. But until then, I'm still kind of like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, good. That's kind of where I'm at with Scalebound.
At this point, that's exactly where I am. I'm like, look, it is what it is. There's nothing we could do about it. People need to stop expecting Scalebound to come back because it's not. Mm-hmm. If it does come back, do you think that would be a crazy E3 moment?
It would. It would be a crazy E3 moment.
There's two games that I feel like would blow the roof off of E3.
What's that?
Scalebound rebooting and coming back, and a Rise Center Rome 2.
Yes. Rise Center Rome 2 would be bigger than Scalebound, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, because Rise Center Rome's actually had a game to generate a little bit of hype.
Yeah.
Scalebound would be crazy. It just, I hope it happens. Like, I really do, because, when you see what's his name over there at Platinum, you could tell he knew he was in the wrong, because that dude never, ever admits defeat. He always acts like he's 100% in the right on everything, and you could tell when he was talking. He's like, yeah, we messed up. If they let us fix it, we'll fix it. But, I don't blame them for not letting us fix it.
Addict, they let Xbox get that ass whooped for 4 or 5 years before they admitted that they were part of the reason the game was canceled also. They let Xbox get their legs beat. Specifically, Phil Spencer. People was killing Phil Spencer in the Xbox, bro. I remember.
Yeah, they should have been more open with the conditions that was going on.
They let Xbox get destroyed, bro.
See, I'm not a huge fan of Platinum Games, but what I will say is the games that they 100% focus on, the Bayonettas, the Nier Automatas, the games that they Vanquish, the games that the majority of the problem is they have 100% of a studio and they split it 8 ways to make 8 different games. Mm-hmm. And they have like 5 or 6 people in the closet making this game, 8 or 9 people in the lunchroom making this game. Yep. And that's the issue, because then when you do that, you have ideals splitting. Obviously, they have some form of the vets in their studio split to all these projects. They have visions going through multiple different projects, but if you laser focus that studio into 1 to 2 projects, I honestly and truly feel they can make great games.
Metal Gear Rising, that's another one with Don Otaku's. Hey man, look, Don Otaku, we actually agreed on something.
Astro Chain. They made that.
Pretty dope. That was a pretty dope game.
$5 super chat from the Angry Therapist MD. Even if they make it, it will not live up to the hype. I hope it will. If they remade that game, I would hope it would live up to the hype everyone has. Because imagine, Dirt, just close your eyes and imagine that Scalebound comes out and it's a 90+ Metacritic. Everyone's loving it. It's brought dragons to the next era of gaming. I do think the concept of that game was was solid. It's just maybe we don't 100% know what happened. I do think Microsoft had a little bit to do with maybe setting expectations on like using co-op and stuff that didn't pan out so well for the hardware. Because I think both parties had a small part to play. I think Platinum Games probably had more of the pie of terms of the issues and who was wrong. But I do think Xbox had a little bit of that pie. But I hope it happens, man. Especially like Rise and Rome. I would love if they would just give that game another chance.
Hey, Addict,
like,
but you see what the chat is saying? They were saying Killer Instinct 2 would bring down a house.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, it would absolutely bring down a house.
And I think Killer Instinct 2 has a better chance of coming back than any of these games. So, well, I'm about 80% sure there's a Rise and Rome 2 in the works.
Really?
But I don't think it's going to be an Xbox exclusive. I think it's going to be a multi-plat. And I think that's not a good look. And you know what would be worse, Dirt? That sucker came out and was a PlayStation exclusive.
Oh, that would be terrible. Do you remember when people were starting to think that the next Alan Wake would be a PlayStation exclusive? Because people was like, yo, like remember when Xbox sold the rights back to Remedy, when they gave them the rights back for Alan Wake, and people was like, it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive. Like Sony's going to buy Remedy, and I was like, oh, please don't let it be a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah, I agree with Carolina. Maybe if Scalebound is coming back, it should be a single-player only game. I think it should be. I think Platinum Games don't really mess with too much in the co-op sensation, and I think maybe there is a lot of unexperienced stuff going on there that they couldn't get stuff working because they don't necessarily have worked on stuff like that before. But I bet you they came with them with that ideal. Like, here's the thing. Microsoft probably pushed it a little bit more than they should have, but Platinum Games said, we got you. We can do that. And a studio like Platinum Games, even though that I don't like a lot of their games, they're very veteran studio. If they told you something, you should believe it because of how old they are and how many hit games they've made. They've made a few 90-plus Metacritic games.
They did?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've made 90-plus games. Hey, chat.
They also made Babylon Fall.
Yeah. Hold up. Metacritic. Hey. Let's see.
I think you made a good point though, Addict, when you said they're a great studio, but because they were mercenaries, they were trying to work as much as possible. Their whole team was split up to like eight different games. I remember they made that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game that was below average. They made a Transformer game. They was working on Scalebound. They was working on so many different games. Because they're trying to eat. They're trying to make as much as they can, but that didn't show the full, talent of the studio because, like you said, so many people working on different things. Nier Automata, like that game was pretty decent. I bought it, but I never really did play it.
I mean, it's like you look at games like that, just games in general, man. Like they have made some very successful games, but at the end of the day, you can be as successful as you want if you're not coming out there and promising on and delivering on promises. It's going to be very rough for you, man. It's going to be very rough. Okay, so Bayonetta 2 was a 92. I got it up now. Okay. That I have done something that I've never done. What button did I push? Okay. I was legitimately panicking. I accidentally pushed a different shortcut. It looked really weird. Okay, so Bayonetta 2 Bayonetta 2 wasn't on the Switch, was it?
I think it was exclusive to the Switch.
Bayonetta 2?
No.
Bayonetta 3.
Not the Switch. No, 3 was exclusive to the Switch. Bayonetta 2 was exclusive to the Wii U, I believe.
All right, so I'll just read off the 90s and 80s they have. Bayonetta 2 on the Switch, so that's probably like a remake of some sort. I don't really count those because I feel like you can't realistically review another game that's already been out and have a valid opinion on it because it's already been reviewed. Your opinion on the game's probably already to some form of bias because it's already been out. Bayonetta 2 again, so clearly Nier Automata Game of the Year edition. Bayonetta, the original one for the 360.
I like that.
90. Nier Automata 90. Bayonetta on the PC 90. Bayonetta 2, so that was the dual edition 90. Mm-hmm. Nier Automata Astral Chain 87.
Okay.
The original Nier Automata PS4 version was 88. Then you have Bayonetta on the PS3, which is the 87. The Wonderful 101 remaster 85. Then you have Vanquish 84, both of them. Metal Gear Rising Revenge was a 83. Mad World 81. And yeah, that's all the 80s and 90s. Like, and you gotta think,
that's pretty good.
I just named probably 10 games, maybe even 13, 14. Like, that's a lot of games. People don't realize how many years it took. That's 20 years worth of games.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Now that you say that, that's actually pretty impressive. That many, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and then they made that Transformers Devastation for it. See, look, they're a hit and miss because all of this fluff was because they had to make these games or their company would go out of business. Like Rainey's Arcane, the Wonderful 101, Star Fox Zero. I forgot about that. The Legend of Korra. I actually like that. The Legend of Korra game. I played a lot of that. Infinite Space, Babylon Falls of 46. Is that one of their IPs or is that something they made for someone?
I think they made that for Sony, didn't they? I don't know if Sony owns it.
Square Enix. I think Square Enix is publishing it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, but it was a garbage game. A lot of people didn't like it. That's a question I do have for you. Do you think that part of the issue with the industry in general is there's too much trend chasing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a couple games as a service blew off. Everyone felt like they got to do games as a service.
Everybody trying to do the same thing.
A couple battle royales did what everyone feels like they got to do battle royale.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a rough business to where these games are pretty expensive. So you're trying to chase what works, and unfortunately, sometimes it just doesn't work out for these companies. There were so many live service games. There were so many battle royale games, hero shooters. There were so many, but like you said, it doesn't always work out like that, man. Like people try to do what they're gonna do, but it doesn't always work.
Yeah, so it is what it is. I hope they get their stuff together. I really do.
Yeah.
I never want a studio to go out of business. I might joke about it. I've joked about about in the past that Kojima deserves to be in a straitjacket.
Yeah.
But do I really think the man needs to put on a straitjacket? That's debatable. But
yeah, I agree with you. I don't be wanting these studios to go out of business. Like we were talking about Callisto Protocol, and I was like, it's unfortunate the game didn't sell well. We crack jokes about PlayStation being behind the game and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, I don't like to see studios. Because I'm a gamer before I'm an Xbox fan. You know what I'm saying? I'm a gamer first, and I like to play video games. So seeing video game companies shut down is something I don't like to see.
No one wants to see that, and the thing is we don't know alternative versions in the future where these games, because they were never giving a full financial backing for a full game they want to make, could have ended up making the next GTA, could have ended up making the next big game. Like Epic pretty much like did a Hail Mary with Fortnite as like a defense game.
Yeah.
And then when they saw the popularity that PUBG was getting, they're like, look, I think we can do that better. Mm-hmm. And they took that. And now that is arguably one of the most influential games in the gaming industry.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Hey, with something you just said that I want to kind of rebuttal. You said nobody wants to see a gaming company close down. That's not true. Because there's a lot of people happy about the layoffs today, bro. A lot of
weirdo energy. A lot of weirdo energy.
They're using this ammunition, bro. I know you're on Twitter. You might see, maybe got some people blocked. They're using it as ammo. Of course.
See, there's people that I know that do it for trolling purposes. Like they're just trying to get a rise out of people.
Mm.
But if people are generally on Twitter and generally happy, not a front, generally happy that people got laid off in the thousands, you are an idiot.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just need to delete your Twitter. You need to maybe you need some therapy, fam.
Mm-hmm.
Just some
Well, there's a
therapy.
bunch of them out there, bro. A lot of them need some therapy. I would never, wish for somebody to lose their job. As a man, as a husband, a father, people depend on me. My wife, my kids, they depend on me. And if I can't provide for them, I can't imagine that because it will be it'll be very difficult. It'll be devastating as a man to go through that situation. And obviously, this just isn't men, but I'm sure some of these people are parents. They have households, they have homes. I'm sure they'll be able to get another gig, but it's still got to be stressful initially. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure we talk about that in a few.
Yeah, it is what it is. We're about to get to that, unfortunately. Let's just go ahead and get straight over to it. So we are at 43 minutes and 45 seconds. We're going to talk about
Timestamps authority gonna be on your head.
yeah, we're going to talk about the Halo fiasco. We're going to talk about the layoffs in general. So for those of you that's watching from under a rock, we got the $5 super chat from El Nina. Probably butchered that, but we're going to move right past it. These layoffs is the reason I will gladly be buying 10 copies of Hogwarts Legacy just to support the developers. Yo, Eli 99, I'm going to be real with you. I don't got that game. So, if you're going to buy 10, gift me one, man. Gift me one.
Too.
Yeah, people sitting here saying they're going to buy Hogwarts Legacy in the bundles. Me and Dirt will gladly take one of them.
Gladly.
Yeah. I'm sure you could, for people on the Xbox land, you can gift us game. I don't know about that PlayStation fiasco. You can't do that over there. All right, they in the Stone Ages. But over here in the Xbox land, we can easily take a code. Because if you're just going to buy them just to buy them, people on here on this chat, people on Twitter, you know what they say? They're like, we're going to say something. You ain't no different than the PlayStation people capping for something you ain't going to do. If you going to really sit there on your stone and buy 10 copies of it, I take one of them. That's it, though. That's it.
Yeah, man. So,
yeah. All right, so there's been 10,000 jobs lost.
Yeah.
And it's very upsetting. It's very upsetting. So it does look like 343 was affected and some of Bethesda. And the way it looked like that I saw on Twitter is a lot of marketing people got laid off. Which is interesting that there wasn't a lot of the gaming portion laid off. You know what I'm saying? Like, sure, you had like 60 people here, probably a lot of marketing, but as far as like the developers and stuff, the only story I really heard of was some from Bethesda and a lot of people from Xbox, from 343.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because to me, that means that the gaming industry is doing well enough that they can't justify those layoffs. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. First off, let's talk about just the layoffs in general, Dirt. What's your opinion on it?
Well, it's obviously unfortunate, Addict, because you don't want to see people get laid off. Like I just said earlier, these people have families to support, they have homes, mortgages, things like that. You don't want to see people get laid off. But like I said, the game industry, these people can find another gig. I already saw Naughty Dog saying they're hiring, which is good. But as far as Microsoft, I don't think people realize in the last 4 years, Microsoft has hired 77,000 people. Tom Warren broke it down how many employees they had from 2019 to 2023. They hired 77,000 people the last 4 years. Unfortunately, they had to let go 10,000 of it. So that is unfortunate for those people. But it's not the first time we've seen layoffs at all. It's just a part of the life. I've been laid off before. I'm not sure if you've been laid off before. It's a part of life, and it's unfortunate. It's a unnecessary. I mean, it's a necessary evil, I should say. So yeah, I hope these people get back on their feet, and I'm sure they will. I saw one guy say, it sucks that I'm laid off, but I'm about to get jacked. And like he said, he about to go to the gym and get jacked because he's going to have some extra time now. But yeah, I'm pretty sure
Christopher
they're in.
Hart, you sit in that chat, you sit down. We will get to Halo Infinite. You don't
Yeah,
have
well,
to
we're gonna
sit
talk about
there.
Halo. Yeah.
Yeah, wait. I literally I open up the. First off, hold up. I'm gonna have to roast you, Christopher. I'm gonna have to roast you. How you come in this chat and say why you talk about Halo when literally the topic is called 343 craziness? It's literally called 343 industry massive news.
Yeah, it's in the
How
title.
you gonna sit there and say that we ain't gonna talk about Halo? Relax,
Hey,
Chris.
shut up, Chris. Man, you lucky you ain't on my channel.
No, he'd be
POS.
blocked if he was on your channel.
Yeah, man, my bro. As soon as like Chris' name pop up, my mods block him because Chris never comes in and say, "Yo, what's up, y'all?" He just comes in and say, "Xbox is trash, PlayStation VR is killing." Shut up. Um, yeah. So like I said, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But we've seen like Amazon let go of 18,000 people today. He's like, damn. I read something about DoorDash had to let go a bunch of different people because during COVID they kind of blew up, and then with COVID calming down, they say, "Oh, damn, we hired too many people." So it's a part of life, and it sucks. It really does. You're not going to hear me fanboying about it. It sucks, man. It sucks, and especially from our standpoint with gaming, 343. Like we're going to get there next, but they got hit like as far as Xbox gaming first party 343 and Bethesda, like Addicts mentioned, and they got hit too. So yeah, it sucks, man. It sucks. But back to what I was saying, they have hired 77,000 people over the last 4 years, and unfortunately, 10,000 got let go today. So
Yeah, and it's like I hate that it's happening, but at the same time, it's just how business goes. I wish it didn't go this way, and I wish they could keep their job, but unfortunately, the world don't care what I think, and for a company that did make such a vast big buy for $68 billion, it's easy to look at that and say if they can spend that kind of money, why can't they retain 10,000 people?
yeah,
But if they did decisions like that and didn't cut positions that they didn't necessarily need at the moment, they wouldn't have the money to buy a company for $68 billion. I wish they would. 100%. I wish they would. But at the end of the day, it's just nothing I can do about it. I would definitely love for them to keep all those jobs and keep all those people. But I don't know anything about running $1 billion corporation, unfortunately. And I find it weird, like awkward for me to tell $1 billion corporation how to run $1 billion corporation,
right,
or $1 trillion corporation, because I just,
yeah,
I don't know. I did see people were talking about the CEOs like made like millions and millions, like $300 or $400 million in compensations from hitting goals. It's shitty. He's making that money and they laying off that many people.
yeah,
But I can't really go too much in on that either because they put those goals in place for a reason to encourage the CEO to run for those numbers. What I don't like is when people start laying people off to make the numbers look better so they can get paid.
right.
That's what I don't like. Is that happening here? I don't know. I don't know enough information on what's going on. I don't know why things are going off the way it is, and my heart's out to everyone that got laid off. It's a rough thing, and I feel like these companies shouldn't be able to lay people off with almost no notice. Like a company should not be able to just walk in and be like, "Yo, you out."
That's where unions would stop. You know what I'm saying? If there was a union, I've been in the union for 23 years. My current job, I've been at 23 years, been in unions since day one. Unions don't allow companies just go fire people. If you want to fire somebody, you better have a hell of a reason. It better be a great reason. Yeah, you better have proof. You better have something concrete to why you're letting these people go. And if there was a union, uh, like 343 and Bethesda, they would have had to place them somewhere else. Because at my job, people have been, they want to let go or close a department down. It is mandatory that they put those employees somewhere else in the company. They can't just fire them. So That's something that a union would stop.
Well,
But
hopefully they will retain some of these people and take them somewhere else where they're needed.
yeah, hopefully.
You know,
Yeah.
a lot of that's done post after everything's already been handled, so we don't exactly know if any of that's going to happen. But I'm very curious to see if that does happen. If after a certain amount of time goes by, they start giving these other people that their job in another location.
Hey, Addict, I'm sorry to cut you off. Chris, come on, bro. You know Sony has done this before. It might not have been 10,000 people, but they've let people go before too. Really, Chris? That's what you're gonna say? Come on, man. You remember they shut down the team that made Drive Club? They closed that whole studio down. How about Japan Studio? Do you remember that? Stop it. Don't act like Sony. Stop it, bro. This is business. This happens in business all the time. Don't act like Sony never did this before.
Sony shut whole studios down. Like
Right,
whole studios. Like you
my
got
point.
no job.
Stop, Chris. Just stop it. I never seen Sony do this before. Stop it.
I mean, we can literally Google Sony layoffs, and we'd probably spend 3 hours reading all the people they've laid off.
Yeah, stop it. Tom, I never seen Sony do this before. This happens all of the time.
The only reason it's making such a big big notice, I think there's multiple reasons. One reason is because they just spent $68 billion.
Absolutely.
So it does look bad on a logistics side. And another thing, Microsoft's just way bigger than Sony, and when they do layoffs, they lay off way more people because they just have more of staff on strike. I think it said they lay 4 to 5% of their employees
they said
off.
The 10,000 people being laid off is only 4% of their workforce. And I just mentioned how the last 4 years they hired 77,000 people. Of course, Microsoft is bigger than Sony, Chris Hart. And who is that? Harry? Why sugarcoat? Who's sugarcoating 10,000 people getting laid off? Nobody's sugarcoating that. That's a lot of people, bro. That's a lot of people. Microsoft is a massive company. I'm not, yes, we're not sugarcoating.
So Harry, hold on. No, Harry, tell me how we ain't criticizing. Tell me how me saying that companies shouldn't be able to just lay people off without proper cause or any type of time frame to find a new job. Tell me how that's I can't even, you said no critical thinking. Tell me how Dirt's saying the reason he likes man, I just completely spaced. The reason he likes unions is because they can't do stuff like that. How's that critical thinking?
See, Alex, these are the type of guys that he just joined, right? Probably 2 minutes ago. He probably knows I'm an Xbox dude, right? Oh, you're just defending Microsoft without actually listening to anything we're saying. These are the type of guys, bro.
Harry, no one brought up PlayStation. It was Chris that brought up PlayStation.
Chris Hart, yes.
And he was making a remark off of that. You go look at. We never talked about PlayStation. Christopher Hart said, "I don't see PlayStation people do that," and that's why he said that. So I mean, you guys can sit here and you could sit there and spin this in any way, shape, or form you want to. That's fine. I don't care. But at the end of the day, we're going to go ahead and get on to the 343 fiasco. It's just crazy that, what, they want us to come on here, disrespect people, say Xbox is the worst company in the world, and just straight up be mad disrespectful. That's all. That is their equivalent to us holding them to the fire. But if you come to them like, look, we understand it's business. You shouldn't do it this way. We feel like there could have been a different way. I don't like how companies could do this. That's not a critical thing. I don't know what else to tell you guys. I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah. This Harry guy, whatever. Well, Sony only had 90 people laid off in 2022. Okay, well, what about 2017, 2016? Shut up. Get out of here. Like Alex said, the only reason we brought up Sony is because Chris Hart did. Get out of here, man.
We won't feed them too much. I gave them a little brownie, but I'm done giving brownies. All right, let's go on to the 343, the actual Halo stuff. Okay, so 343 was part of these layoffs, and it looked like they laid off 60 plus people. What's interesting is there were some articles out saying that some of those and a lot of those layoffs was story related. Did you see that?
Yeah. Like from the campaign team. I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh,
So are they drifting away from that? Are they
ooh,
done trying? I'm kind of curious how that's going. Like I really.
yeah.
What's your
I
opinion on
agree.
the matter, man?
Yeah, man. 60 people laid off from the campaign team. It does make you question, like, whoa, okay, are they still doing the campaign? I mean, probably so, because Halo is not only known for its multiplayer, but it's also known for its campaign. And I actually enjoy Halo Infinite's campaign, and I would like to see more of that story, especially with Halo Infinite ending on a kind of a, like a tease for like the next part. So it made me kind of say, wow, I read what Pierre said, the guy that's the so like the guy that's heading Halo right now. I just had the quote up. I'm sorry. He said Pierre. He said something. Sorry. Damn. I just had it. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I just had it. I don't know what happened to it, but he's okay. I'm sorry. I found it. He said, "We've made the difficult decision to restructure elements of our team, which means some roles are being eliminated." So Pierre is of course the guy that's running 343 now, and I'm sure it was a tough decision. But I'm curious, like you, why are they removing just people from the campaign team? Mm, I don't know, man. It really makes you think. And also, I know you read that Joseph Staten is going back to Xbox, Microsoft Global Publishing, and I think you can look at that like one of two ways. You can look at that like they brought him in there to help finish Halo Infinite. He did his job, and now he's going back to where he was previously. Or you can look at it like they're just restructuring everything and then just put him back to where he was before. So what does that mean, Addict? This is I don't know, bro.
It seems like a demotion to me. I'm sorry. Like
It does.
it's just like, how do you go from running a studio to going back to your old shit?
Well, he never ran the studio.
I mean, he didn't technically run the studio, but he was running the studio.
Okay.
It is what it is. Did you end up reading that whole article that I sent you?
No, I didn't read the whole thing. I just kind of
Okay.
looked at some of the
So,
tweets.
what was the overall gist? That he just went back. That's pretty much all it said.
Yeah, they said that he just pretty much when he's going back to global publishing, and that's it, man. But yeah, like you said, the single player team has the biggest impact. So yeah, I don't know, man.
It's sad, man. At this point, would you be surprised in the next year if you hear that 343 is moving on to a new project and Halo's being put on the shelves?
Halo Infinite is being put on the shelf, or Halo franchise?
Halo franchise.
I would be surprised if that happens. Yes. Now, if they say they're doing a sequel to Halo Infinite, I wouldn't be surprised about that. But the Halo franchise, I would definitely be surprised about that.
It's sad, man. I honestly feel like that this studio could do something. I feel like, at this point, maybe they need to move on to something else that's not Halo. Maybe they're too close to it. When you don't truly give a studio the freedom they need to do stuff that they want to do, I feel like that can cause issues.
Mm.
So maybe Halo can bounce back from this. It's looking bad though. And what's sad is this Forge dropped, and I felt like it gained so much traction with Forge, and now the fact that Joseph Staten's leaving might as well just destroyed all of it. Like, it'd be crazy
What's
if
that?
Bonnie Ross came back. It's sad, man. I honestly and truly feel like this studio could do something, and maybe it's not Halo. Maybe they need to do something new. Maybe when you come out and you're this studio and that's all you make, maybe that's the issue. And it just feels like these days, you don't really know what's going on until it happens. And I really do hope that they get stuff taken care of, man. Like, what do you think is next for Halo?
At this point, I do think they're going to continue with the multiplayer stuff in the seasons. I believe season 3 is about to drop pretty soon, right? Season 3 is about to drop pretty soon. I think they're going to continue with it. They're going to keep on adding new modes. I believe it's what's that other team that's working on the battle royale? Is it Creative Assembly? Maybe. They're working on the battle royale. I think they're going to still focus on all of the multiplayer stuff, but the single player stuff, that's what's really up in the air. I still think they're going to do a single player because we don't know how many people was on the campaign. I'm sure it was more than 60, so we don't really know. But I'm assuming they're still going to do the campaign. I can't see them giving the campaign to somebody else. I can't see that. I think they're going to keep it in 343. But at this point, I'm just going to say we don't know what's happening. We don't know what's going to happen. The game still plays well. Like I said, I played it right before the podcast. It still plays well. It runs well. You can still get into a game pretty fast. Season 3 is coming soon, but we'll see what happens in the future, bro. I just don't know. I'm sorry, Certain Infinity, Jigga J. My bad. Yep. So that wasn't a real Chris Hart. Oh, sorry about that. Well, both Chris Harts are POS.
Yeah, I mean, but it wouldn't surprise me if Christopher Hart came in here with some stuff like that.
Game and Forte said the campaign would be a part of a different game, not Halo Infinite.
Hey, Forte, we need to talk.
Yeah.
We need to talk, Forte. There's a lot of stuff I can't say. But, I think that I'm going to just be real. I think 343 needs to work on something new.
Yeah. Sometimes people want to do something new,
Yeah, I think if anything, if you want them to keep them on the Halo franchise, split that studio in half. Let half of them work on this and half of them work on that. That's probably better for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is, though. At this point, there's nothing we can really do with that. It needs to be one of those things where something needs to change because whatever's working is not working. You got too many people leaving back and forth. Whatever is working is not working. Something needs to change. What's funny is I'm friends with J-Dub, and I know a lot of people don't like J-Dub, but it's cool. I get it. He's made a lot of enemies. His persona on Twitter is a little too much sometimes. And when he calls me and I see his name, I'm like, like, I know what he's gonna hear, and every time something really bad happens on Xbox, I hear him laugh.
Yeah,
I
tried to be friends with him before too. Yeah.
Oh, he's a good dude. I get it. Like he's too much on Twitter. He's too much on Twitter.
But he doesn't. Listen, I was in several DMs with him, and he never stops. I said, bro, I can't deal with this.
I feel you. I've told him multiple times, man, you need to lay off that persona a little bit. $5 super chat from El Nina. Best scenario for Halo is Microsoft buy Certain Affinity and give the IP to them. Max Hubbard is the only hope. Hubbard man. I don't know who that is. Okay. Let me ask you a question. Let's get a little bit fun with this. I say we got about another 10 minutes before I'm wrapping this up. Okay. Halo 343 keeps the multiplayer. They outsource the single player to another studio that they own. Who would you want it to do?
That they own. Most people say id Software because they're really good at doing first person shooters. But I would say, check this out, Arcane. I would say Arcane.
Arcane is a crazy thought.
Arcane, that game, that would be the most original Halo game ever. Yeah, that's what I would say.
I'm saying Machine Game.
Machine Games would be a good one too. Oh yeah, you know what? I forgot about that. Oh, that's a good one. You know what? Yeah, I would go Machine. I forgot about them because I love the Wolfenstein games. Yeah, that's a good one. But when it comes to hold on, I'm still want to say Arcane because the sci-fi aspect.
See, the reason I say Machine Games is I think of something like the beginning of Wolfenstein, the last one, where he's rolling through the hallway in the chair, and he's putting his foot on the little vertical. Like, imagine that type of set pieces, but with Halo.
Yeah, that would be fire. But yeah,
But do you honestly feel like Halo might need to go a little bit of like the adult gory side with the single player though?
I would be fine with that. Yeah,
Like
I think.
imagine fighting like you're fighting an elite. An elite pulls up on you. And Master Chief, like he's coming up with the sword, and Master Chief like takes his elbow and just sticks himself with it. Like the elite, and you just see the blood coming off the sword. Like how I think that would be good, man. I think the single player might need to go, because here's the thing. I didn't mind what they made with Halo Infinite. I thought that open world was okay. I thought it was a lot of forms. It was dead inside. I didn't feel like the actual things was what I wanted. Like, you know how like there was like sections of the map? I kind of felt like they should have went towards the Far Cry 5 direction, where certain sections of the map was ran by a certain elite or covenant or banished. And you had to do stuff in that area to get him to come out.
Yeah,
and
that was dope. Yeah.
Let's say that there was like a commander of Banshees. And as long as he was alive, there was like crazy Banshees going through the map. You know what I'm saying? But when you killed him, you was able to do more air stuff. You unlocked your own aerial combat. I thought would have been cool for stuff like that. But I personally feel like Halo needs to go back to linear, where set pieces,
everything don't need to be open world. I agree with you. Yeah.
Imagine Halo 4. Halo 4, I felt like the story could have been better, but the infrastructure and what the story is built on was good. It's just I felt like they could have fluffed it out better than they did. Like, we didn't need to fight Homeboy 5-6 times.
Yeah.
There was a lot of information that they gave us that I felt like...
Oh, you talking about 5? You talking about 5?
Yeah. Shout out to the 306 people in the chat, man. Hit that like button, you guys. Let's get that above 100. Let's get that above.
Let me hit it. I didn't even hit the like button. What's wrong with me, man?
But that's how I feel. People say Doom. I don't think it should make it. I'm gonna be real with you.
I think we're Doom.
Yeah.
I love Doom. That's a fast this game. Is fast as hell. I know they have the store down for Halo, but nah, I stand by my Arcane though, and I would say Arcane, Austin. Well, I'll wait till I play Redfall first, but Arcane, Leon, the ones that made Dead.
I want Arcane to make Dishonored again. We got a $2 super chat from Sir X-Man. Remedy should do the next Halo story.
There'll be some type of time manipulation when Master Chief watch.
I don't want that though. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't want that. Time manipulation. Yeah, I don't want that. Got $2 super chat from Carl Andrews Jr. I hope that's not your name, man. Change it if it is. What could Epic Games do with Halo? Epic Games, they would shade shell the hell out of that game. Oh, what's up, Gene Park? Give Halo to Todd. Pure chaos. Are you saying Todd Howard? Are you saying God Howard, Gene? Yo, that would be crazy. Imagine if Bethesda made a Halo game.
That would be crazy.
Imagine if you started Halo. Okay, yeah. What I was gonna say is I would like Arcane to make a Dishonored and Deathloop mix, like a combine. It would be cool if imagine a Halo Infinite, not Halo Infinite, a Halo game that's like an open world game. You start as just a regular Marine. You're working your way up. You could go either direction. You could join the Covenant if you want to. Like, imagine like an open world game like that. I think that would be dope, man. I think that would be dope. Like a BioWare type game, like a Mass Effect type game in the Halo universe.
Interesting stuff, man.
Or imagine at the beginning you could choose to be like an elite or something, and you're born in that world. And you have to like fight your way to be in the Covenant, or you could join the humans. Like it'd be cool, man. It would be cool.
Yep. Yeah, that'd be different. That'd be definitely different.
All right, but I appreciate it for coming through, man. That's another thing I would like for them to do. The Arbiter has a huge expansive life. And I think the Coalition should make an Arbiter game.
The Coalition?
Where it's a third-person, action-adventure, gory-ass game. Imagine, like, you're the Arbiter and you're reaching over, grabbing them, and just cutting off, like, their chest, their abdomen. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's who the Arbiter is. He's a very aggressive individual. $5 shooter from El Nina. Once Microsoft owns Blizzard, have them make a Halo MMO.
They might do
I
that.
I don't want a bunch of focus on Halo though. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
real. Like, I think Halo is a great franchise, and maybe I would prefer that 343 work on something new. But if they want to keep it around, I just don't want a bunch of new projects with Halo, because I want them to experiment and give opportunities to these developers to make something new. Because I feel like that's one of the issues that we have in the industry right now is people are getting too comfortable with franchises, and instead of trying to make a new IP, which is risky, and I will never say that they should, because I know it's a risky business and the wrong IP could ruin your whole company. But what I will say is I feel like people are getting too comfortable with making franchises that they're not experiencing enough, and we're not getting better games.
Yeah. I, I think that's the time that we're living in, Addict. People are, these companies, they're hesitant to invest money in a new IP. That's why we're getting so many remakes and so many sequels. Because Callisto Protocol is a perfect example of a beautiful game, a game I actually liked, but it kind of flopped, and that game had a pretty massive budget.
You know what we do, Dirt? And I don't know how you feel about this, Gene. Let's just shake it up. Let's give. I think I've said this before. Let's give 343 Gears, and let's give Coalition Halo, and just like make a first person, third person. You make a third person, a first person, and see how that goes. It'd be
That'd be
interesting. I
crazy.
wonder who would make the better game. I think it'd be
That'd be crazy.
Coalition. I think
No, hey,
Coalition.
Gas, don't come in here with that mess. Talking about Gas was right. No.
I did you ever calm your people with they people?
Not really. We just kind of, listen,
Just like a ceasefire kind of thing.
when it kind of calmed down, Gas had made a video and it flared right back up. So, they're still mad at Gas. Gas, like, whatever. So it's kind of like, it is
Yeah,
what it is.
I feel it, and I do feel like there does come to a point where the line between joking and being disrespectful is crossed.
Yeah.
The sad part is we're different individuals, different people. That line is different for everyone, and some people they don't know if what the difference is. And it's sad because I do feel like this is about gaming, you guys. Let's keep it gaming, and sometimes, people want the smoke, they get the smoke. So we got to find all this information from Cloaked Onyx. One of the major issues is that Halo Infinite didn't explore the lore of Zeta Halo. So much history happened to that Halo, and it's only in the books. I agree.
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff they can do. But, we're going to go ahead. What?
No, I'm saying, yeah, I agree with him.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and get this out of here, man. I try to keep these like an hour and a half maximum. I appreciate it for coming through, though. But Dirt, where can the audience find you? Put your stuff in the chat, man.
Yeah,
spam it.
Spam it. Check out my YouTube channel, Dirt Griggity. I have a podcast on Monday evenings called WBZ Xbox Podcast. Let me get my WBZ Xbox Podcast. I do, content. Check it out. I have a lot of fun. And I always say this. If you are a PlayStation fanboy, you probably won't like my channel. But if you're an Xbox fan that loves a little trash talking, loves to have fun, I try to keep it entertaining. Check it out. Chris Hart, hey, you keep on telling me unblock you. Everybody, my mods block you, bro, because you come in there with the foolishness.
I will admit, Chris, if this is the real Chris, you do come in. Like, it'd be different if you came in just to chat it up, and then you started doing the foolishness. But you come in, like a lot of people come in there. They want to just joke around. They knock on the door, and then when we open it, then they started. You kick the door open with the console war stuff.
Yeah, bro. It's like last week on my boy Shaun 786 channel. He came in. We were really talking about Xbox at that time. We were talking about Xbox and the Developers Direct show. And the first thing he said when he came in, PlayStation VR is going to kill all of y'all. Like, what? He was like, bro, we really talking about Xbox. No console or stuff at that time. We were just talking about what to expect. We were talking about Redfall, Forza. And he was like, PlayStation VR is going to destroy anything Xbox dropped this year and blah, blah, blah. Come on, man.
We got a $5 super chat from El Nina. I appreciate you super chatting a lot, El Nina. You've been. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. That'd be horrible, but we're gonna move past that. The whole point behind 343 was to make Halo. I'm sorry, but I have no interest in anything else from them. I feel you, but if they made good games, I think you would think differently. Do you see what I'm saying? Dirt. I feel like people have every right to have that mentality, but I feel like if 343 had been secretly working on a game, they dropped it this year in the holiday, and it was a good game, people would be like, I like this. Let's new experiment, man. New experiment. $5 super chat from Thenarios. Is that how he spelled it?
Yeah, that's what it look like.
Don't understand the 343 hate. 343 has a parent company, which is Microsoft. I'm pretty sure all 343 bullies were the fault of Microsoft. I don't think it's like I said earlier. I think it's a give and take. It's a little bit Xbox fault, a little bit PlayStation's fault, a little bit Microsoft's fault, a little bit of 343's fault. Like,
the ambitions was too big for Infinite, right?
Yeah, I do feel like maybe 343 was highly encouraged to make a games as a service Halo, and maybe they just weren't equipped to do it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because if you really look on that, I play Fortnite. You look through the stuff you can get, the stuff you can buy, the stuff you can earn. A lot of it's fun. Oh, this is cool. This is cool. You look through that 343 Halo Infinite merchandise that you can get through the season pass or buy. There's not you could look different, but it's not drastically. You know what I'm saying? Like your mask is a circle instead of a triangle. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they could do better in the cosmetic department. I do. I think.
Hey, Flame said, I blame the Series S. It's the Series S fault. The layouts is the Series S fault, right?
I feel you guys. I feel you. Yeah. All right, but we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up, man. Put your stuff in the chat again, man. Spam it in there. I will do that. We will be doing the Iron Lords podcast this 1 p.m. Now, we do have a guest. Normally we don't do guests back to back anymore, but we do have a guest, and I'm curious if I tell you on a scale from 1 to 10 how mad Cog would be. I don't know.
Say nothing then.
Yeah, maybe it's best I don't say. They can wait till Saturday for the marketing for the show. Because I could just see Cog now. Why did you tell them? He wouldn't get like upset with me. He would just be like, "Man, you know I like to show that for Twitter." Right. So yeah, I can feel that. look at Dawn talking. Just tell us. We're not gonna tell. It's live. I can't hide. Like you acting like between us. Am I going to tell him it's Addict with a C? That's who said it, not me. I can keep a secret. Yeah, can all 240 people in the chat right now keep your secret? I think the first thing you guys would do is go on Twitter and tag Cog and said Addict Stitching. That's the first thing you guys would do, and I ain't giving you guys the satisfaction. But I appreciate you for coming through. This is Lord Addict and Dirt Griggity. Definitely check out his podcast, man. He does it Mondays.
My bot podcast, my bot channel. Come on, bots, come check it out.
Definitely go check that out. What's up, Slow Mo? Look, everyone decided to show up like at the very end, man. At the very end. But I appreciate everyone coming through. If you guys, there is timestamps. I did get all the timestamps.
Timestamps, right, Addict.
I didn't do the intros. I didn't do the outro one, so the timestamp police are gonna have to get over that one. The outro 000. I don't care, because to me, why are you trying to do a timestamp to the outros? That makes no sense. Does that make sense to you?
I do a timestamp for the
people
outro,
leave.
Now that you say that, it doesn't make sense.
People leave on the outros.
Yeah, that lets people know when the last conversation is going to be over. I mean, the end of the show is over, and it makes sense. Outro meaning that's the beginning of people saying, "Yo, I'm out of here. Yo, check out my channel." So, I guess I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna ring up the guests on here. I gotta talk to Dirt, find out what kind of people he likes having on. But I appreciate everyone coming through. This is Gaming Addict, Lord Addict, and Dirt, and we'll talk to you later. Be sure to put your Twitter in the